What's up, my people? What's up, my homies? What's up, my friends? I'm Gnarly Vato, and these are Gnarly Times. Well, today I want to talk about RAZA and my theory. I hear a bunch of these guys online like Pocho One and American Cholo and all these fools, right? Ramble on. I think is nonsense, right? Well, let me give you a little quick rundown of my family. Both sides of my family came from Texas, right? One was they're from by the border. I think Mercedes and Pearsall, Texas. McAllen, all over Texas, I guess. Well, they moved over here. My mom was born in Arizona. I thought I said last time in somewhere else, but she was born in Tucson or Tempe, Arizona. My dad was born in Tulare, but my family were Fameros, right? And that's why a lot of people gravitated toward, like, um, well, excuse me. I like to talk about, you know, people like there people coming from South America and coming up here, right? And they're like, oh, they're blaming the white man this, the white man that. And it's like, oh, what if it's so bad and the white man colonized, then they blame it. Oh, they colonized South America, made it, destroyed it, right? But that, in a way, was a blessing. I believe the Spaniards coming and stopping the Aztecs killing the rest of us. I'm just saying, because I believe that's why there's a hate inside of us, and it's against our own race. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that we we fled. People back then, like, okay, we could go on our if you ever watch Apocalypto, that's not or that it could be accurate, but could it be? Couldn't. Who knows? We weren't there, but a lot of the stories were told, But I believe something like that is pretty accurate, right? Where they fled because the family and the village got over attacked to go sacrifice, So all these fools fled, and they ain't gonna flee south because the farther you go down south, the more jungle, So obviously, I believe they fled up north, So that's where I think they get the mythical place Aslan, right? If those who ever heard about that, if you ever seen the old lowrider magazines, or the Teen Angels, they would talk about Aslan and all this, right? So back in the days, when I was growing up, like in my early teen years, I was drawn to old English, and my dad gave me a little thing, the ABCs, and I started doing like 11, 12 years old, and I thought that old English representing Chicanos, and then my dad used to talk about Chicano Park and the song, and the raza. He was always talking about raza, and well, so I always had it in my, always like, when gang banging happened, I've always still had love and respect for the Southsiders, But I ain't gonna go, oh, I worship your nuts, what I mean? Never, because we're our own souls, we're our own people. And those of us who are Northerners, we're different. You can't compare us to the Southsiders, Because the North is a idea, and we embrace anybody who accepts our idea. That's the crazy part, and like, for instance, one time I had a coworker, right? I walked up, introduced myself. He had an LA hat and I had a Giants hat, and he's like, "Oh, is this fool a buster?" He's in his mind, and I'm like, "Oh, is this fool one of these?" This was like about 6, 7 years ago, right? Right here where I moved to. Well, this fool moved from LA right here, and so anyway, we ended up becoming pretty close. You know what I'm saying? Because we're the only workers, just me and him. So we used to talk. He's from Echo Park, right? So I'm from Tulare County, So I'm like, yeah, this is how we do it, And I'm a year younger than him. He's my brother's age, right? So this fool, he had hate for Northerners, right? And he'd be like, oh, he never disrespected me or nothing, but you see the little animosity. But I don't blame him. When you put in work and shit, they didn't call you bust for nothing because you busting heads, and that's why well, anyways, I explained it to him why Northerners are around, and he've never heard of it. He didn't know supposedly the shoes and all these things that happen, yeah, because if those who watched American Me, because we're a RAZA, so we were all drawn to that because back in the days we didn't have many Mexicans on TV, so even the ones from up north were drawn to that, and excuse me, and so we love the oldies, the lowriders, so LA is the main spot, but we just took some of the style, of course, because not the style, but we're all raza, so we all blended, we're all together, like dressing style, whatever. So even though that's why I believe that we have a hatred inside of us for other Mexicans or raza, because we think in our mind that these fools might try to take our life, because it's in the the Aztecs. They don't care. They didn't care. You know what I mean? Because they believe in the sun god. The sun's more important than you, flesh and blood. So I believe there's something in us that's like that. So that's just the way I see things, and so that's why I believe Aztlan was the western states, that was sold to Mexico. I mean, Mexico sold to America, and when they talk about that, they want California back, they want Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, Utah, right? And that's what I used to be in this class in junior high. It's called Mecha, right? And I think I might have mentioned in other videos that I went to Fresno. And Fresno was in the middle of California, right? So high schools from all over the state was right here in Fresno. So we're at the university, and there was thousands and thousands of high school kids, Chicanos, and so they were talking about, it was Aslan, and we're gonna bring it back, and that was in '93. You talking about that? So I think, like, look at these fools. They still try to get America back, this and that, or I believe that's why they're bringing all these fools in to try to take over our stuff, Well, that's where I just trip out on how fools always blame the white guy, capitalism, colonialism, and all this, right? But I think it was a blessing for the Spaniards to come and say, "Hey, check it out, Chile, no more," and just stop what was going on. Yeah, okay, the Spanish Inquisition, all that, okay, and this happened in the 500s, 1600s, right? So, like this other fool, Pocho One, blaming on colonialism and this and that. Did colonialism start gangs, fool? You know what I'm saying? And then he's talking about, he had a hatred for his little fool got shot and killed, and he was mad it was a northerner. He's like wishing it was a little Southsider. Like, fool, what do you wish it was anybody? You know what I'm saying? I think you're trying to bring it outside together, talk about this and that. Like, these fools are tripping. Talking about growing up, this and that. Well, grow up, fool. What the hell you keep... Don't get me wrong. Okay, I talk about this and that. I might be glorifying, I might not, but I feel it's just one of my tales I'm telling, about my life and how I view this world. You just gotta appreciate we were born here. I used to be called Pocho. They used to call me that in high school. All these fools from the camp and, Campo Locos. Well, I wasn't really too much in that yet, but, in freshman year, but, hey, Pocho, like, what? And I used to talk to them, like, why you fools trip on me? Because they really had a little animosity against me. They say, because you don't know where you're from. And you're born here. I said, what? So what? I'm from here, fool. Porterville, Tulare County. And I say, I know where they come from. My fan comes from Texas. What are you talking about? Well, I just I just don't like how people could blame. I see online, blame colonialism, blame the white man, blame this, blame that. Like, fool, come on, man. Really? You blaming them? I can't blame. Look, if they were against the brown man, how did I get a loan for this home? Riddle me that. My last name's like Chavez, dude. It's like, you know what I mean? Oh, literally, he's a Mexican. Let's redline him. No, fool, it's credit. They don't really care. They want to see your credit score. You know what I mean? Like, these fools blame it on this and that. Get a job. Do something. Stop complaining about these other fools stepping on your neck, keeping you down. It's a lie, you know? And you need people who stay in one spot and get stuck, never gonna achieve anything, you know? You guys need to go and see the country. Go around and see what's out there, you know? The more you go out and see places, the more you understand we're all the same. Okay? We're just located in different places. We eat different food. We're all the same. They say, there's a saying that says, if you take away their food, any person's food, and from a culture, they lose identity. You know? That's why people go, oh, tamales, you eat tamales, you eat a little beaner. Of course, we eat beans. That's our thing. Salsa, tortillas, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, my grandma was the only one that spoke Spanish all her life. She only knew a few words in English, you know? So she was the only one that ever talked to me in Spanish. You know, and she always say sweet things. She was the most loving woman, I think. I still think of her, you know? Anyways, she didn't speak no English, and she owned a house. You know what I'm saying? Her and my grandpa. Like, what are you guys talking about? This is crazy. She was born in Texas, speaking no English. You know, and it's just crazy how people want to cry about the white dude. I never heard my grandpa. I used to work in the olives. You know, my parents picked up in the cherries, the apples. They used to go to Washington, Oregon, up north, Yuba City, you know. And my dad's side, they lived in a camp, a campo. You know, like they say, oh yeah, I lived in my family. They really did. They were up in there. You know what I'm saying? They started from that. So I think my grandpa came around the 40s or 50s. I'm not really sure, but he worked his way up. You know what I'm saying? He was hustling. He fixed things, go to the swap meet, sell things, sell water. I used to slink watermelons with him. That's why I love watermelons. But you know what I'm saying? I used to fix things and just post them on the side of the road somewhere. You know, my grandpa was a hustler. People, later on I found out people used to come to the house and ask to borrow money, you know, from him. And supposedly he had a perfect credit score. You know, so it's like, what held him down? You know what I'm saying? He came over here, they came like in a 50-something Chevy. All the kids when they moved over here, dude. I found out they lived up in somewhere in Texas where around all black homies, black fools. You know, and that's where I guess my grandpa used to play a little instrument because he learned to rock out with them, you know, or do the little music. But that's why I hate to hear people blame society, blame. I was on 7 years parole. Got out when I was 25. I kept going back to jail. You know what I mean? Last time I've been in jail about 4 years ago, but it's like, come on, fool. You could do it. Get your mind right. Save some money. Get a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, do something. Stop blaming the white guy. That's why I want to go out to this fool culture. Like, fool, you're complaining about the capitalism and the white dude and it's from mental passed down for generations. Like they say, the slave mentalities in the black homies right now, because That's why they want the reparations. Like, nah, fool, get off your ass and do something. Stop complaining. And and one thing I don't like either is you try to talk about bringing RAZA together, but yet you had hate for the little homie that you're hoping is a little south side that died, then it was a little northern that died, then that's when you learn to hate these south siders. Like, I don't know about you, fool. That's why I trip out. Like, you're here trying to bring RAZA together. It's like, what you talking about, homie? Okay, yeah, we get put in positions, situations. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be. It sounds like you're spreading bullshit. You know what I mean? How? This is wild. That's why I think I'm online to battle people that cry and whine about capitalism. You know, like, I've been to 17 states. You know, I've been through the Indian territories. I've seen the books I've read, Indians and areas I've read in jail. I've been through them. Been to Georgia, been to Arkansas, Oklahoma, you know, Texas. Like, once you go and see other places, your mind expands, you know? And people, one time I was in Minnesota, right? Like, at a little town. They found out 2 Mexicans were there. I was with 2 white homeboys from Oildale and my uncle. When we go to this bar, and one homeboy from Oildale and one met up from Colorado. I went there 3 times, North Dakota. But I ended up going to Minnesota, and we're there, right? In this bar. And they heard in this town like 200 people. They heard there's 2 Mexicans in town. 6 people working in town. 2 Mexicans, 2 white dudes, and 2 other people somewhere else. So we go to this little bar, right? And we're there chilling. Then these two white cats come in, right? Dude and his old lady. Because it's so cold, all there is to do is drink. So we're there chilling, right? And they just start talking. And they go, hey, what part of Mexico you from? And they go, I said, California. And he goes, and everybody in the bar started busting up laughing. Even they did, you know. But he was trying to, like, I don't know what the hell he was trying to do. But I you know what I mean? I could even, came out crazy, but I look at it like this. They've never seen a Mexican. So you either want to be a good Mexican or a bad Mexican. You know, be like, I hate Mexicans. You know? So that's why I always try to leave a good impression. You know? So they always remember, Mexicans are cool. Or, you know, what have you. It's like, people are closed-minded. So once they see and experience things, their mind just expands. And then they feel how small their world was. You know? And it's just crazy. That's why I can't relate to these fools being a victim. If you're being a victim from the white man, think about it. Mr. Super Chicano, Raza. The South Sider can't victimize me. The Bulldogs, right? Whoever, but the white man, the system. Like, fool, cry me a river. That's some bullshit. Excuse me. You know, but I think that's why I'm online, because I hate to hear fools whine and cry about this and that. Talk about raza, but yet, I hope there was a little Southsider guy smoked. Fool, it's bad anyone getting smoked. You know what I'm saying? Come on, you haven't really did shit to understand. Yeah, you're up in the little homies industries, up on these Southsiders nuts. It's like, come on, fool, get your mind right. I don't know what the hell you talking about. Sound like some bullshit. You know? But they say no victim here. We get this shit done. You know what I'm saying? Shit. And I want to tell the fools out there, the little homies, don't be a victim. You ain't a victim. You get this shit right. Get a job. Get a little ride, beat up car, whatever you can get. Even if you got to walk to work, dude. Get a bike. You know what I'm saying? And just keep pushing. Start going up. Level up. That's what I did. You know, we stayed with my mom. Got a studio, and getting a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom. Boom, gated community. Lived out 5 acres, you know what I'm saying? Like, now I'm out here in a nice spot, you know what I'm saying? So all you gotta do is keep your mind right and don't play the victim, because ain't no one a victim. You know, when you're running the gang lifestyle, that's what I trip out like this. That's why I don't believe this fool was ever in gangs. You know, because he's playing the victim with all this capitalism shit. Like, fool, how else do you make money? How else do fools come up with capitalism? Blame it on the white man. Anyways, I just want to talk about my spiel, and don't be a victim. We ain't victims. Our family came this far, toiling the soil to get us to where we're at today. And they weren't victims. They weren't crying. Maybe they were. You know what I'm saying? Back then they used to work up to sundown. But anyways, stay positive, stay out of trouble, and take care. I'm Gnarly Vato, and these are gnarly times.